Alrighty then, you betcha. We're starting out today with a G-scale engine. And let me see what the customer says he wants. So he wants to have sound added in it. And he says make it address 1, but I think, if I remember right, he's going to run this in analog. So we'll have to make sure that it works both ways. And I've got a little paper here. It's got off the net, tells me how to install DCC. Well, that's okay, but we're probably not going to end up just plugging in a decoder. If we want sound in this, we're going to have to, I'm going to adjust my little thing here. Oh, I can't do it. I got it all tied down. If we want sound in this, then we're going to have to take it apart and hardwire it, and not just plug it in. All right, so starting off, we need something nice to put this on. Foam. Sometimes foam is not the best material. I'm thinking we're going to use some bubble wrap, believe it or not. I don't have a large matte foam rubber cradle for G-scale like I do the other one, so they're kind of at a disadvantage here, but we're just going to use some bubble wrap and put it down there. And this is to keep it stable, for one thing, so it doesn't roll all over the place. I've had that happen to me before. All right, and we're going to start by taking out the screws and opening this thing up. So hold on a second while I do that. So I often say part of the hardest thing to about putting in decoders and doing that is getting the doggone things apart. And this is a really good example of that, where it doesn't appear as though it's coming apart like it says in the instructions. And even though I get it apart, see, here's the deal. These are metal, and it doesn't say anything about swinging those in or out or whatever, but that was what was catching. Anyways, okay, so we got it apart. There's all the electronics, and there's a little place for us to put a board in someplace. Oh, here it is. So this is a typical shorting block right here. So we'll kind of zoom in so you can see that. Typical shorting block right there. And it covers over the 8-pin plug. So we're going to remove that, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to put any kind of decoder in there. And don't you know, it's not coming out very easily. So we're going to have to persuade it a little bit with a pair of pliers. Usually they just pop right out because they're just plugged in. So I'm going to pull that out. There you go. And so this has got a couple of diodes or resistors on it. Who knows what's on there? It looks like diodes maybe. But the 8-pin plug is an NMRA, National Model Railroad Association standard, and it shows here pin 1 on the board itself. And we're actually going to take this and we'll give it back to the customer. Not that he's going to need it, but typically we just throw that away. It straps the motor directly to the wheels, and if you were using analog, that's all you would want. Now there's some other pieces in here. Not quite sure what they're there for. Maybe this already has sound in it. Oh, that would be the kicker, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right, well, maybe we should have tried that. All right, so hold off just a second until I get some power to it. So I have like a piece of track now, right? And we've got some dollies. I need to come back down here where we can see what we're doing. And I've got some dollies, right, that fit on the piece of track. Is that cool or what? And then we can actually put this on the dollies. I'm going to move the track in a little bit. There you go. Put these on the dollies. And we can run the engine just as though it was on on the track, and of course we're going to have to figure a way to get electricity to it. We got a power supply here. We're going to put some power to it. Right rail should be red. Left rail should be black. And we're going to power up the transformer and see what we get. Well, I'm at 14 or 15 volts and I'm not getting anything, and maybe that's because this is not making a good connection here. Yes, no? Alright, well, let's go directly to the rails and see if we can do something with that. Well, one of the reasons why it's not working is because I took that plug out, remember? Okay, so let's put the plug back in. Let's turn this off for a second. Let's put the plug back in. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So we've got power. Runs nice. I see a headlight. I see. What happens if we reverse these now? We got something going on here, not quite sure what it is. That might be a light that's in the firebox. It's certainly not an overhead light that I can see. And no reversing light, so. Looking at the amount of current, it's pulling 0.2 amps on the meter that I've got here. Going forward, 2.25 amp, or I'm sorry, 0.25, 250 milliamps, 1/4 of an amp at 11 volts, 11.4 volts. I'm curious as to what this light is that's right here, or what this connection is. It's right there. You can see it. So we're going to turn this off for a moment. I'm going to see if I can dig out that light. Looks like it just slips in here. Oh no, it's they are connections. Okay. They are connections to the, well, it looks like SPK, speaker. Speaker? Speaker. Well, that would be good, wouldn't it, if there was already a speaker in there. I don't know where that would be, though. Alright, so there is an SP plus and an SP minus on the board. Don't know if that means speaker or not, but we'll, I didn't hear any sounds either, so doesn't look like there's enough stuff here for that. W plus and W minus would be the motor. So here's the motor leads coming in, and they're correctly marked orange and gray. That's an MRA standard. There's a set here which also says speaker and switch. We already know that there's There's smoke here. This says left, right, so those would be wheel pickups. This also would be left, right, wheel pickups. I'm going to pull this board just to see what's underneath there, because it looks like there might be something here, and thinking that that was a speaker, but it just doesn't look like it. It looks like it's part of this. Strange. But if that's a speaker, then I need to know that. I need to know that. So this is kind of a curiosity pull. More than I have to do this, kind of. Don't have to take this board out. SP plus, SP minus. Very interesting. Okay. Let's see if we can turn this up this way so I can see what's going on. Okay, and it was right, it was just the milling part there. Okay, power diodes here and here. I don't see anything special. We might be able to do some pin out. Let's do a little discovery with the meter. Set it up to make a little noise. Okay, so continuity check. We're going to do a continuity check between that and one of these. Ah. Interesting. This one is 0. See, I got SP plus here. This one is 8.2 ohms. This is 0. And this one is 8.2 or 8.3 ohms. So SP plus and SP minus go through the here to there. And we could use those two, but it appears that there's an 8 ohm speaker. Holy cow! That certainly is not in any of this documentation for sure. All right. Well, then we are going to try that, and that will save a lot of time and also a lot of effort if we can use that as our speakers. Let's go get the decoder. So we're going to use a steam decoder here, and be right back. Okay, I was going to use this particular decoder, and if you notice, it says at 4 amps motor stall current. So this doesn't really need 4 amps, and besides, it's as kind of as big as the decoder that's already in the whole thing that's in there. So I'm going to check the stall current, and the way you check it is by, again, turning the system on. I'm going to cut it back. I'm going to hold the wheels. I don't want the wheels to go. Now, this is, you don't want to damage this as you're doing this, but you can kind of hold the wheels. And if you could get a hold of the motor and the gear, you could do that. And just increase the voltage to see what it turns out to be. So I'm increasing the voltage and I'm watching. It's not moving. I'm at 1.2 amps at 5 volts. I'm going to go all the way. I can't even hold it at this point. So let's say at 6 volts, it's 1.2. Well, it's not linear, but if it was linear, then this being at 24 volts, this would be about 4 amps. So let's use this with the understanding that this could possibly be as much as 4 amps, and then that will save us any issues with it later on. And then also, this is a DCC system in this. Now I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to wire up all of this based upon this. So I'll be back. Alrighty, looking at the wires and looking at all the things that I would have to do. I mean, I guess I could kind of lay it in there, but because there are so many different permutations here, and a lot of this stuff we're not going to use, I'm just going to cut it all out. We don't need all these plugs on this, and it'll be a whole lot easier for us just to drop this in that spot. Okay. So the first issue, I guess, is that we've got leads coming from the pilot, leads coming from the trailing trucks, and leads coming from the drivers, and these are all just left and right leads. We don't know how much wire we're going to need. I'm going to give myself enough if I just happen to go back. So there's no turning back now. We're into snipping wires. So snipping those all out, and I'm going to leave these plugs in for the moment because we're not quite sure where they go. This says speaker switch, or it says SPK switch, so I don't know if that's what that's for. We're gonna take the speaker out. Interestingly enough, this has got no, it doesn't either. I was gonna say it has a speaker plug on it, but it doesn't. We're gonna take that out. This is to the motor, and we need the bare motor leads, so we're going to go ahead and cut those out. And they're already appropriately marked. And I'm going to disconnect this. Not quite sure what this is yet. And actually, it's not coming out very well. See if we can get it to come out of the plug like it's supposed to. There we go. It's kind of wrapped around some of these other wires. Let's go ahead and remove these here and here, and we're going to probably end up discarding this whole thing, or using it for reference to figure out what wires go where. All right, I'm going to pull this set of wires. There's a set of switches on the inside here, and again, looking at them here, you see that it's got, get it in where it is, got polarity down here at the bottom, and it's hard to read here, but this is NMRA, and then this says large scale. What is that all about? Well, oftentimes the black and the red are flipped. For large scale, NMRA standard says the right rail as it's moving forward is red, left rail is black. Then there's a smoke switch up here which is off, and of course that would be on, right? So we're going to turn that off. We're going to use that smoke switch. It's not always a good thing to have smoke when you're having DCC, and there's ways to fix that, and so we're going to work on that. And this all kinds of hides behind the front. That's pretty classic for large scale and G scale, garden scale railroads. All right, and obviously a light, and this looks like it's an LED, and so we'll have to make sure that we put the appropriate resistor on there for that. And all of that will come out of this wiring that's back down here. And this again is, we think, the speaker, so we're gonna watch that with all this other wiring. Okay, we're ready to make a real quick now adaptation. This will go here. Oop, oop, wrong one. Where's my big dollar one? There it is. All right, and this is our sound system, and we're going to go ahead and hook that up just like, well, just as though we were starting from scratch. The motor leads, motor plus and minus here, plus and minus. The plus lead will be orange, minus lead will be gray, so here we are. And this has got LR and RR, which is left rail, right rail. So we can either flip these around where this is red, right rail, red, right, black rail. We're not going to use the polarity thing that's on the front. As a matter of fact, the no polarity is used when you're not picking up stuff off the rail, but you're actually using battery power. So let's start with that. Let's get some of these wires intact, ready to go. And we're just going to take the insulation off, right? And the driver wheel plus and minuses are the important ones. And because they are where they are, I'm thinking I'm going to flip this around, just so that left and right matches left and right here with the red and black. So now all of these wires are going in the back, but the motor leads are going to cross over. Okay, motor leads are going to cross over. So this is the minus lead. Give us a screwdriver to put that in. Okay. So we don't want this to wobble around too much. There's other things underneath here. We don't want them to short out if they would happen to. So oftentimes what we would do is we're going to add a buffer, a tape material, double-sided tape, and this is the kind of tape that you would find. This is 3M. You can tell by the coating on it, and we're just going to put a couple of stripes of this here, and go ahead and cut them. And then this will give us a stable platform that we can work on, and also later on will allow us to insulate the board from any other issues that we might have. And we can just go ahead and pull the second side sticky off it and get ready to put that in there. And like that. Now it's good and stable. It's not going anywhere. Now we can start wiring. So minus is the gray wire, and we're going to put that in there and tighten that up. And then we're going to check it to make sure that it's in. Okay, so a little tug. Compression terminal blocks. I love compression terminal blocks, but they have one bad habit, and that's that if they let loose, they let loose. Go ahead and see if I can, on this one, this is the right one. So that goes here. And left goes over here. Didn't leave very much. Didn't leave very much wire. Alrighty, now with just those two alone, this should work. Let's see. Well, we're getting power to the board. That's nice that we've got a and again with DCC you have to have at least 5 to 7 volts. I'm 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 volts. Don't see any movement. Interesting. Alrighty then. Shall we continue? See what this these little wires are. Hard to tell. Well, what do you know? Well, let's see if we've got speaker. Did we say that we thought this might be a speaker? So let's go ahead and cut this. Right. And put this in here, and we've got a S plus and an S minus right here. So let's go with that. And there's that test I was talking about. Make sure that it's going to stay in. Oh yeah, there's one. And there's the other. Now let's see if we can get some chatter here. Holy cow. Beautiful. We have a speaker. Yay! Now, why doesn't it move? Don't know. Let's go up to 14 volts. Maybe it just needs more volts. No? Nope. Okay. We may have to do something else. All right, so we're going to stop right here till I check on what these two wires are.